I'm Mark Josephson. I'm the CEO of Outside In, and I'm very excited to be here today and just to listen to, well, to be amongst a group of folks who are so bright and doing such things as a consumer I love. But also to hear some of the things and topics that we're talking about today, like embracing the community of people who are actually reading your news, or helping them create that news and cover that news, and how do you focus on what you do best, and where's your opportunity of to invest in what you do best, and we think that's local. So we're going to pull up the presentation. It's okay, but so Outside In is focused on hyperlocal, and what I wanted to talk about today is the opportunity we see to use technology and a platform approach and a network approach to define a new version of a local news organization and a local news product. And the problem that we're trying to solve is the pothole paradox. I think everybody probably has read about this, but this is how do you create a local news experience that satisfies my needs and my needs only. The needs that when that pothole on my street that I drive over every single day and curse every single morning on the way to the train, when that gets filled finally, that matters to me, and that's important and interesting to me. But the guy on the street behind me who never drives on my street, it doesn't matter. It doesn't do anything for him. How are we doing? That's okay. That's all right. We're looking to solve the pothole paradox, and we haven't been able to solve that yet. Traditional media has not been able to solve that because the business model doesn't support that. You can't put a reporter on every corner. You can't cover that pothole because you just can't extend to that level. And being able to solve that pothole paradox gives you the opportunity, we think, to create a new form of local that has to be, here's a couple of characteristics of the new form of local that we talk about. It has to be personal. It has to be about you and only you. Places that are close to you, proximity really matters. The gas shortage in California or the home prices in Kansas City are important and interesting news. But to me, I live in New Jersey. The new principal at my school or the downtown development that we're fighting about in my town is really important to me because it's close to me. Chris Anderson talks about that in The Vanishing Point of News. We're firm believers in that. So we think that the new local has to be personal. It has to be about me. It also has to get to the neighborhood level and beyond. If you think about the different verticals of news and news consumption, computing, health, tech, finance, sports, consumers have this demand and an expectation to be able to customize that news down to the keyword, down to the player on your fantasy football team, down to the stock that you're tracking. That hasn't happened yet in local. Consumers' demand is not being met, primarily because most local media and attempts to get really local have stopped at the zip code or DMA level. There's been some interesting forays into neighborhood news, but the reality is that there exists this huge gap between where people live and their particular personal local experience and where news coverage is stopping. So we think that the new local has to get beyond zip codes, it has to get beyond DMAs, it has to get down to street addresses, discrete places, and an incredibly personal experience. We also know that there is an explosion of hyperlocal content that's being created. We talked, there's the model of training people to be travel correspondents. And that's great, but guess what? There's thousands of people creating hyperlocal content, writing about on blogs and other sources, writing about the school council meeting, the football game at the high school, that pothole that finally got fixed on my street. That's happening today. It exists. The content creation platform has been completely commoditized. It takes 5 minutes to be a local news reporter today. And that's happening, and vast amounts of content are being created there. And then that's even before you get to the Yelp reviews and before you get to localizing classifieds and other things to bring into the process. We also think the new local has to be portable. The concept of setting your default location to one spot and that's your local and that's your home base doesn't exist anymore. People live in one spot, they work in another spot, they walk around, and this concept of Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, we think about the GeoWeb. The GeoWeb is about where you are and what's around you. And as more devices become location aware, whether that's your phone or your laptop with the new Mozilla geolocation tool or the new Google geolocation, your iPhone, whatever, your toaster someday, they're going to know, your applications are going to know where you are, and knowing what's going on around you, wherever you might be, becomes increasingly important. And the definition of local is not just your hometown. It's got to follow you and be with you wherever you go. And that's why we think that the opportunity for the new local exists at this true intersection of personalization and localization. let's talk about how we see that happening. It's all enabled by a very simple, discrete component called the geotag. The geotag is taking the most discrete piece of information and attaching geolocation data to that. And that's what our business does. I got a couple slides in before talking about our business. But our business is fundamentally, our product is fundamentally a geotagging engine that looks at content, parses it on a post-by-post basis, and attaches geodata to it to create compelling applications for consumers, publishers, and advertisers. Quick example of how it works. This is an article in yesterday's Boston Herald. The reporter writes about a new clothing store. They don't think about geotagging. They run it through our engine. Our engine parses that content, identifies discrete place, the store, the neighborhoods, and the region, and we attach that geodata to that piece of content. We're creating a huge database of pages mapped to place that enables those applications for consumers, publishers, and advertisers. And that enables a new local to come to life. A new local knows what's happening right around me. This is our radar product. This tells you what's happening within 1,000 feet of you. At the top, you can see that Herald piece. It also tracks the places that you're passionate about, whether it's your kids' elementary schools, the train stations you commute through every day, or your parents' retirement home. Everything that is close to you and close to your heart is your local. It also is incredibly timely and personal. You want to know when something happens. When something is around you that matters, you need to know about it. You get radar alerts, you get email alerts or SMS alerts about what's happening in your local, and nobody else gets that if they don't care. It also goes with you. It has to travel with you about wherever you may be. Publishers can use these tools also to define local as well. This is that example of the Boston Herald. This is a map on their page. Geographic navigation tools for geographic content. It's a no-brainer, like left-handed scissors for left-handers. And you can power neighborhood-level news. Imagine breaking Chicago down to hundreds of neighborhoods, which we do for NBC. That's the new definition of local as we see it. We're a data and technology platform and company that enables that for all of you. And it's all there for free, by the way. Go grab it at these sites.